from the heart, the Artistry of Living. I'm Suzy Vance, and I'm here with
Warner Graf,
Debbie Rose,
and Steve Graf.
Awesome. We are here because of this amazing exhibit. So tell us about this exhibit. We're here at Lebesnick.
Well, this exhibit is from the Graf Dairy Hero Foundation, and it is the culmination of 50 years of collecting, and it includes original artwork from comic artists from the 60s and 70s. It includes about 800 toys, though not all of them are displayed here, obviously. About 130 posters, and lots of ephemeral, so historic things that have to do with the comic book industry, like an old comic book vending machine, for example, and other great, very rare pieces. And the charity is to harness the kids' fascination and love for superheroes, and to get them thinking about a little bit of the deeper meaning of why they like them. And certainly there's, you know, little boys love fight scenes and colorful costumes and that type of thing, but really what draws these kids to these characters, and back in the day when we were all growing up, you know, to the comic books. They don't read comic books as much anymore, but the movies have kind of, you know, taken that place. But what draws the kids to that is the heroism. So
yes.
None of these characters are really attractive unless they do good things, right? And they have certain qualities that are heroic.
And we're doing our best to have the kids understand that doing good things is important.
Absolutely.
Every day. And everybody can be a hero.
That's right.
So this is amazing. We could wander around and see some of the pieces if you'd like.
Certainly, if you don't mind, Suzy, maybe Deb and Steve can say just a little bit more about the charity, and then I'll take you on a tour.
Okay.
So one of the missions of the charity is to bring the characters to life with the kids, and we want the kids to work with the Michigan City area schools and instill the values of the heroes, because every kid has the ability and the innate, they want to do good. So we're hoping that the kids will see some good in some of these characters attached to that, and know that, you know, it's important to do good. And character is what you do when no one's looking. And that's integrity.
Talk to me about the characters. Meaning not the characters, but the characteristics of the characters.
So some of the things that you'll see here in this room, we have community. Community is important for everyone, and we're very tied to Michigan City, born and raised in Michigan City, and happy to be back in Michigan City and bringing this program. Courage, you know, it takes courage to do good. It takes courage to do the right thing. And, you know, the sign up here says, with great power comes great responsibility. And the kids need to know that they have it in them, that this is all within them, and they can do good things. And then integrity, you know, integrity kind of brings it all back to the character and the habits that the school's trying to teach, and, you know, setting a good example. It's hard to be good sometimes.
Yes, especially in the face of when other kids want you to do other things.
Yes.
Yeah, well, I think with the constant media, the 15 minutes of fame, the TikTok, the Instagram, and I think what this brings out is that you don't have to be showy, materialistic to be a hero, and to instill those values, have those values inside. It takes courage to do what's right when others may not do that, and they might just go along.
And just by being an example of, just by doing, quote unquote, the right thing, doing what is in everyone's heart, actually.
Yes.
It's all there. And in this day and age, it seems to me that sometimes we're focused on what's outside, we're focused on what we want to get, we're focused on all of those things. And if we just go inside to that heart and listen and respond, and not listen to necessarily what's going on
All the
outside.
noise that's running around.
All the cacophony.
Absolutely. Yeah, and there are so many, as you guys have hit on, there are so many influences on kids which are negative right now. You know, it promotes, you know, almost the opposite of heroism. You know, there's a currency in victimhood, there's a currency in splitting people up and labeling them and so on. And what we're hoping kids do is they think for themselves, they think about, you know, their individuality and what they can bring, you know, to any situation, which will make that situation better.
You want to inspire them.
Absolutely, and it's good for personal success, but it's also good culturally. You know, the culture breaks down if people aren't honest, if people don't have integrity and courage to, like Steve said, do something right, even when the crowd is going the opposite way.
And lift other people up.
Very good. Yep.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully that's what the exhibit does. So
Yes.
we'll see.
Well, that's certainly what all the heroes in these images did. And so we hope a little of that'll rub off.
Fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So, do we want to take a journey
Absolutely.
around?
Let's show the highlights.
Okay, here we go. So we're here with Captain America. Tell us about this one.
Well, the Captain America statue is done by an artist in the Philippines. It's a female artist, and she has a number of different cultural characters that she's sculpted over the years, and we were very happy to acquire about 13 statues from this artist over the last few years. And Captain America is a showpiece for us, and obviously it ties into the kind of character traits that we're hoping kids aspire to. We want kids to have a love of country. We want them to understand that our country is exceptional, that our founders were heroes and they did heroic things back in the Revolution. So this honors 1776. We opened in July of this year at the Lebesnick Center. And this showcases the Declaration of Independence. And then over here, there's some original art from the Washington's Crossing of the Delaware by John Romita and Jim Mooney, who were two prominent artists in the Bronze Age. And this is the calendar from Marvel from 1976. And you can see Captain America standing in front of the Declaration of Independence. And then if you go back to the December panel, you can see that this is the actual printing of the original art of the December panel here. So, and the Declaration of Independence has its own wonderful history. Steve?
Yeah, so this actually hung in City Hall in Philadelphia from 1952 until 2008.
About 1990s.
But in the 90s. And so what we wanted to do was recreate the bicentennial calendar. And I think you could see that it comes off perfect. And we're lucky to be able to display this and show, you know, basically how important this value is that Captain America stood for.
This is the Black Widow. She was originally a villain, and she turned heroine because she knew in her heart that she can do better. So we have to love the Black Widow. And on to the first female artist. Marie Severin is the first female cartoon artist that was allowed in the bullpen, and she had a very whimsical style. And Marvel sent out Christmas cards every year, and in 1969 she created this card, and that was sent out. This was added after they sent the cards out, and they moved, and in 1976 they put this image on the bag that they sent out, or that they gave out at their at Comic-Con. So in 1976, you know, it came back, and it's a beautiful piece. So the first female comic artist, and she did a lot of the art for a fun comic called Not Brand X, and this was a spoof on all the characters. So she did the art for this, and people who know the series love this because you have, you know, Spider-Man, he's upset because they're spoofing him. So it's just a beautiful collection.
Well, Spider-Man really is the cornerstone of the Marvel Universe, and probably because you can see on the wall, with great power comes great responsibility, is Spider-Man's message to the world. And really one of the good values, that you don't have to be big and strong to have and do good things.
You don't have to have muscles.
That's
You
right.
have to have a trust muscle.
That's right, because Spider-Man was a teenager and really didn't want to be a hero, but understood and learned the lesson that you can't stand by and do nothing. So you
have to do what you're called to do.
and what your heart says.
Right.
Yes. Do what's right. So, and that's why Spider-Man is very, very important to this exhibit and the charity as well.
This is the original music for the song from the Spider-Man, and some of the lyrics have changed since they originally wrote it. So when they originally wrote it, I don't sing, but they said, in the chill of the night, at the scene of the crime, like a bird in flight. And when you hear the music as it is now, it's in the chill of the night, at the scene of a crime, like a streak of light. He gives, I can't read it.
Arrives just in time.
Arrives just in time.
There you go.
We need to redo that one.
No, it's okay.
Okay. So, but everyone knows the song. But when you start singing it and then you read this, it's pretty cool to see how it started with this, and then it music changes.
And we all do things just in time
Yes.
if we trust.
Yes.
We're always in the right place at the right time.
Yes.
Learning whatever we're learning, and by our example,
Yes.
imbuing other people with something.
Yes.
And we hope it's a good thing.
Yes. One word can make all the difference.
So how did all this happen? Whatever inspired you?
Well, when I was young, Steve and I and a number of other friends of ours and cousins and so on, we all collected comic books. And over the course of the years, I started collecting toys. And then I stopped for about 20 years. And then when eBay came back online, I kept seeing toys that I wanted when I was a kid but didn't have any money. And I said, well, I'm gonna pick that up just for the heck of it, And so over the course of like maybe the last 15 years or more than that, 20 years, I guess, I've gotten a lot more knowledgeable about all the different toys from the 1960s and the 70s, a lot of the history of comic book art and so on. And it was a wonderful distraction from corporate America because we're working hard every day, and then this was kind of like the release. Well, over time, this stuff started to be worth a lot of money because of the movies. And so I have a decision to make. I can keep it in the basement, or we can piece it out and sell it, which probably would have been the smart thing to do. But what kept coming back to me is the same thing that we talked about with the charity, is that why do I actually like this stuff? I like the colors and all that, and I like the memories of childhood and nostalgia, but really what draws kids to it, which drew me to it, and which I wanted to use the collection for, was to instill these values that we've been talking about today.
Oh, your heart spoke to you.
My heart spoke to me, yes. So, so I assembled a very good, very knowledgeable board. On our charity, we have some of the most prestigious collectors of comic books and memorabilia.
Okay.
We have a former executive, former CEO of the Marvel Entertainment.
Okay.
And then we've got a number of folks who have an interest in either the collection or they have an interest in the community. So we have local representation, like executives like Deb, Milese Tucker that owns Nature's Cupboard, and so on. So we have a very good blend of people that are going to do good things for Michigan City, because our intent is to take this collection, and what you saw here, Suzy, is a fraction of it. It's literally 5%. I have boxes and boxes and boxes. It all gets rolled into the charity. It has to be done in a judicious way so that I get the tax advantages and so on. But over the course of time, all that gets rolled into the charity, and the charity is going to have one of the most eclectic and comprehensive collections of Marvel merchandise from 1960 to 1980.
Okay, so what I see here, and what I've been seeing and listening to you guys talk about, is a way to share with young people and older people who want to reminisce and be reminded that doing good in the world is a good thing, that not judging is a wonderful thing, embracing community is where it's at, particularly in this day and age, and you are giving a focus to that.
Yeah.
And you're creating, frankly, in the heart of the nation, because the Midwest, and particularly this area, I've always thought of as the heart of America, here we are spreading the good word.
I love the way you put it. And you know, it goes back to what you and Steve and Debbie discussed earlier. It's every kid aspires to do good, right? They come out of the womb wanting to do good, and they look for role models, and they can find those role models in a lot of different ways. Sometimes they can, you know, certainly, you know, father figures and family members. They can find them often in their school system and so on, but they also find them in the cultural influences. If those cultural influences are negative, and my contention is that many of them are these days, then the kids aren't going to be inspired. They're not going to do the things that give them not only personal accomplishment but personal joy, and they're not going to perpetuate the good things about where we were born and raised, Midwest in the United States of America. If we bring the character traits back that I grew up on, that Steve grew up on, these characters that were in the 60s and 70s always had a theme behind them. The Hulk was controlling your anger. Captain America was patriotism, do the right thing. Spider-Man, as Steve mentioned, is responsibility. Black Widow is redemption, right? So you have all of these different qualities that kids can grasp onto in their formative years, and hopefully it gets embedded in their psyche somewhere, and they act that way, right? So if we can help inspire and instill those type of values by using this fun stuff to do it, we hope we do a good thing. So we're going to have a permanent exhibit. We're in the process of having a temporary building for maybe a 1 to 5 year plan. And then we're looking to expand if everything goes well. We have a very good proof of concept because, as it turns out, it sounds to me like from the folks at Lebesnick that the exhibit has done very, very well. So they've had a lot of interest, a lot of attendance, and so we have our proof of concept that people are interested in this. They're going to enjoy it, and my God, when they get the full collection out there and we do background stories on whole sets of toys and so on, it's going to be really fun. So we hope to get the kids to come in, and we hope when they leave, they had a ball, they had a great time, they got inspired, and they start thinking about integrity, responsibility.
They remember
patriotism, and
those
so on.
things.
Absolutely.
That's fabulous. And so the name of your foundation is,
So the name of the foundation is the Graf Dairy Hero Foundation.
and you spell that?
GRAF.
Okay.
And then dairy, as in the old dairy factories, right?
Uh-huh.
All right. And it's named after our grandfather, Steve and I. Our grandfather came off the boat from Germany. Nothing in his pocket. He worked his tail off. Nobody complained. They had anti-German sentiment because of the wars, and they still put their nose to the grindstone. They would not speak, they would not have their kids speak German. They had to speak English. They had to become Americans. They had pride in the country.
They were immigrants.
They were immigrants, and they came in.
And they contributed.
And one of the things that he built was a dairy. It lasted for about 14 years here in Michigan City. It was over on Michigan Boulevard. And so we've named the foundation after that spirit. So it's the Graf Dairy Hero Foundation.
And where can we find this?
So we do have a website,
Uh-huh.
grafdairyherofoundation.com.
Okay.
Right, and I know it's a mouthful, but it was the URL was open, so we took it. And we have a Facebook page,
Okay.
and so on. And of course, and like I said, we will be we will be very appreciative of any donations because we are trying to get our feet on the ground after this exhibit, get a permanent exhibit in place, and of course that requires operations costs and insurance and rent, and those type of things until we can get a permanent, spot that maybe the exhibit can have on its own.
So if somebody wants to contact you, they do it through the website,
They can do it through the website.
but they can also call you, yes?
Yeah,
No?
I'm happy to give my phone number.
And what is that?
609-820-4506.
Great.
And on the website, actually next, very, very timely, because next week we'll finally have the link in there to be able to donate. But they could also just send checks to a P.O. box that's listed on the website also.
Great.
And we very much appreciate your interest. And my gosh, you know that your heart is into this. I can see it. This is hitting your strike zone, and it's wonderful to
is.
see the sparkle in your eye as you're
It is.
walking around.
Well, to me, one of the things creating from the heart the Artistry of Living does is it finds the hero in all of us.
Wonderful.
And it does it hoping that someone who watches will think, oh, I could do what I love. I could make a difference? And the answer is yes.
Absolutely.
Okay. Thank you so much,
Thank
you
you.
guys. You've been great.
Thank you.